Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope all of you are doing good. So today in this video I'll discuss about the writing skill. In my session 5's video I already started the topic writing skill, and there I explained phrases. If you want to know about the phrases and you have not yet watched, please go through that video also. So today in this video I'll explain about the sentences, types of sentences, kinds of sentences, parts of speech, and at the last articles and the paragraphs. So let's see what is a sentence. So basically a sentence is a set of words that is complete in a itself. That means that it is a set or group of words that form a one sentence, that form a complete sentence, and it has some specific meaning too. So typically containing a subject and a predicate also. So we will further see what is subject, what is predicate and object. So basically a set of words that is complete in itself, typically containing a subject and a predicate. And if more simply we talk about, it is giving some meaning, some understandable meaning it gives, and the sentence is complete in itself. It also conveys any statement, any question, any exclamation or command, or consisting of a main clause and sometimes one or more subordinate clauses. So we have two parts of sentences, that is a subject and the predicate. So subject is the one, like what the sentence is about or what is the topic of the sentence, and predicate is what is said about the subject. Okay, what is said about the subject. So let's see the example. The teacher teaches the students. So here the teacher is the subject, means the sentence is about the teacher. The topic is about the teacher. We are talking about the teacher. So the teacher is the subject and teaches is the predicate, means something is said about the subject is the predicate, and here it teaches is said about the for the teachers is set for the teacher. So here teachers is the predicate and the student is the object. So we can say that the teacher is the subject, as the sentence is telling something about that teacher, and the action that is taking place is that the teacher teaches. So the predicate is teaches and the student is the object, as the students are affected by the action of the subject. So who are affected by the teachers? Students are affected by the action of the teacher, means subject. So object here is the student. So we can say like that subject is the person or the thing in a sentence that does an action. Okay, note down that subject always does an action. A predicate is the part of the sentence that contains the action, and object is the part or thing affected by the action of the subject. So let's say about the sentence structures in English grammar. So we have primarily 5 sentence structure in English grammar: simple, compound, complex, and the complete. So let's see what is simple sentence. So the first sentence we are having the simple sentences. Simple sentences are made up of a single independent clause containing simply one subject and one verb. For example, I went to work. He likes fruit. My father went to party. Second sentence, we are having the compound sentence. A compound sentence is formed when two independent clauses are joined together by a coordinating conjunctions like and, or, but, etc. For example, I for example, I went to work, but my father went to party. So here I went to work and my father went to party are the two independent clauses, and they are joined by a conjunction, that is the but. Next is the complex sentences. A complex sentences is formed by combining a dependent clause and an independent clause. Okay, so if the dependent clause introduces the independent clause, it must be set off by a comma for the balancing. For example, we missed our plane because we were late. Okay, while I went to work, comma, my father went to party. Next, as the name suggests, it is much more complex than the earlier one, compound complex sentences. So, compound complex sentences is one that contains two independent clauses in addition to a dependent clause. It is the most complicated one and it unites a compound sentence with a complex sentence. For example, he left in a hurry after he got a phone call, but he came back 5 minutes later. Okay, then complete sentence. In order for a sentence to be complete, it must consist of a subject and a verb, and it must express a certain complete thought or meaning. For example, Janet walked along the sandy beaches of Miami. So, this is all about the sentences in English language. This is called the sentence structure. So next we will study about the kinds of sentences. When we are writing and speaking, we use different types of sentences to say what we want to say, right? A sentence can be used to make a sentence, okay, to give any fact, give any command. It can ask the questions or show some emotions, feelings. It can show some order, suggestions. So these are divided into four types on the basis of their purpose: declarative sentences, imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, and the exclamatory sentences. So, declarative sentences make a single statement that we use to share some facts or ideas with someone. In other words, to declare, to state, to assert, or claim something. It is the declarative sentences. So, declarative sentence ends with a period. For example, that is my pen. So, I am declaring that this is my pen. I am your friend. It is the declaration. She lives in a big city. So these type of sentences are called the declarative sentences. Next we are having imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is the one which gives some command or order or suggestion, makes any request or express some feeling or wish. An imperative sentence ends with a period or sometimes an exclamatory sign also. For example, please leave your footwear outside the temple. Okay, so in this sentence there is a word please is used, so it's like it's making a request. See for yourself, open the door, close the fan. These are all the imperative sentences. Next are the interrogative sentences. A sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. An An interrogative sentence ends with a question mark. For example, is the sky blue? Do you want to play? What did you do then? When you will you be coming home? So these are the interrogative sentences. Next we are having the exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence is a sentence that expresses sudden and strong feelings such as any surprise, wonder, sympathy, happiness, gratitude, pity, etc. It ends with an exclamatory mark. People often turn a declaration into an exclamatory sentence by adding an exclamation mark in an attempt to make their words more exciting, loud, or full of emotion. For example, what a shame. I am excited for winter. I am so sorry how hot it was. Okay, so these are all the types of sentences we are having. So next is the most common topic which you are studying from 6th onwards, that is parts of speech. So based on their use and functions, words are categorized into 8 types or parts of speech, that is noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction and interjection. So basically we are having 8 types of parts of speech. So first we are having the noun. So noun is something like naming any word. It is the name of any person, place, thing or idea. Next, pronoun. It replaces the noun. So a pronoun is a part of a speech which functions as a replacement for a noun. Next we are having verb. Verb is called the action words. Verb is having the action word. So a verb shows an action, any physical or any mental or a state of being of the subject in a sentence. So Simran is a nice girl. So here is the verb. I am a student. So am is the verb here. Next is adverb. It describes a verb. An adverb describes or modifies a verb, an adjective or any other adverb. It tells how, where, when, how often or to what extent. So Simran danced gracefully. So gracefully here is the adverb. It is describing a verb. Verb here is the dance. She was walking speedily. So walking is the verb and speedily is the adverb. Next we are having adjective. Adjective is also a describing words. It is used to describe a noun or a pronoun. Adjective can specify the quality, the size and the number of nouns and pronoun. For example, I have 2 sisters. My old grandmother prays daily. So 2 and old are the adjectives here. So next is the conjunction. So conjunction are the joining words. The conjunction is a part of speech which joins the words, phrases or clauses together. For example, as, because, just, as, neither, nor, whether, yet, but. For example, Radha reads novels and short stories. The pasta is tasty, but I prefer pizza. So and but here are the conjunctions. Next is preposition. It shows relationships. A preposition shows the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word. They can indicate time, place or relationships also. For example, I left my mobile on the table for you. Sneha is hiding under the bed. So on and under here are the prepositions. Next we are having interjection. Interjection are expressive words. This part of a speech refers to words which express some emotions or feeling. For example, ouch, wow, hurry, great, help, oh, hey, hi. Wow, passed my entrance test. Ouch, that must have hurt. So, ouch and wow, here are the interjections. So next we are having use of articles. So basically in English grammar we are having two types of articles, that is the and a or an. Basically an article is an adjective as they are generally used before the nouns, and in English language there are two types, the and a or an. So first we are having the is used to refer to a specific or a particular noun. It is also called definite article because it shows some definiteness. For example, please give me the book. So, the here is used for specifying some particular or definite book. I love to drink the warm water. So, the used before the warm is describing the noun. Okay, is used before the noun and it describes some definiteness in the sentence. So, where we are using the and where we do not use the. So, we are always using the before the names of river, oceans, and seas, before the points on the globe like the equator, the north pole, before the geographical areas like the Middle East, the West, before the deserts, forest, gulfs, peninsulas, for example, the Sahara, the Persian Gulf, the Candy, etc. And where we are not using the before some word, we are not using the before the names of most of the countries or the territories like India, Japan, Netherlands, but for some of the countries we are using two, like the Netherlands, the Dominican Republic, the Philippines, the United States. Name of cities, towns, or states, for example, Delhi, Mumbai, Tokyo. We are not using before it. Names of streets like Gaffar Market, T Nagar. We are not using the before these streets. Names of lakes and bays. Names of mountains like Mount Everest. Name of continents like Asia, Europe, Africa. We are not using like the Asia, the Europe, the Africa. Name of islands like Barren, Pamban, Havelock, Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, so these are the specific nouns where we use the before and where we are not using the before. Next we are having a and an. It is used to describe or modify non specific or non particular nouns. It is also called the indefinite articles. For some of the rules are there for a and an. So, A is used before the words that begin with the consonant sounds like a book, a rock. Please give me a book. So, B is the consonant. My neighbor calls a policeman. Okay, and an is used before vowel sound. For example, an umbrella, and interesting. So, these are the two rules for name for A and an. So next we are having the construction of the paragraph. So let's first understand about what do you mean by paragraph. So a paragraph is a series of sentences that are organized and coherent. In other words, a group or the series of words that are combined together and have some particular meaning related to single or some topic. So most paragraph is an essay having a three part of a structure, that is the introduction, body and the conclusion. So, first part we are having for introduction. So, introduction is the first section of any paragraph. It should include the topic of the sentence and any other sentences at the beginning of the paragraph that give some background information or some provide some transition. Next, we are having the body section of the paragraph. It follows the introduction. It discusses the controlling idea using the facts, arguments, analysis, examples about the topic. Next, and the important one, we are having the conclusion. It is the final section. It summarizes the connection between the information discussed in the body of the paragraph and the paragraph controlling idea. So basically we are having the four types of paragraph: descriptive, narrative, expository, persuasive paragraph. So first we are having the descriptive paragraph. This type of paragraph describes something and shows the reader what a thing or a person is like. The word chosen in the description often appeal to the five senses of touch, smell, sight, sound and taste. They can be artistic and maybe deviate from grammatical norm. For example, if you are given to write an essay on my school, then it is a type of descriptive paragraph. Next we are having narrative paragraph. So next we are having the narrative paragraph. In this type of paragraph, it tells about some story. There is a sequence of action, or there is a clear beginning, middle and end of the paragraph. For example, the story of Cinderella contains various parts of the story or the paragraph, that is a upper part, a middle, a beginning, a middle and the end of the paragraph. Next we are having the expository paragraph. This type of paragraph explains something or provides some instruction. For example, if it is given to a method to make a tea, so it one of the expository paragraph. Next we are having the persuasive paragraph. This type of paragraph tries to get the reader to accept up some particular point or view or understand the writer's position, and this type of paragraph that many teachers focus on because it's useful when building an argument. It often requires a collection of facts and research. For example, a paragraph in favor or against the use of mobile phones in a classroom. For example, you have to write some debate. Okay, one group of the class is in for side and another is in against side. So these are the four types of paragraph. So we are having the last topic of the chapter, that is the paragraph content. Some of the essential elements of a good paragraph writing are unity of topic, making relevant content, ordering sentence, coherence, conclude, completeness. So unity of topic is every paragraph has one single controlling idea. The idea is expressed in the topic sentence. Before you can begin writing, you need to know what you are going to write about, and you have to ask by yourself that what do you know about the topic already, and what information you have to gather about the topic, and how do you relate different points you have given in the paragraph. Next we are having the making relevant content. Before writing a paragraph, it is important to think first about the topic and then what you want to say about that topic. Most often the topic is easy, but the question then turns to what you want to say about the topic. This concept is sometimes called the controlling idea. Next is the ordering sentence. A paragraph's order refers to the way you organize your supporting topic sentences. This must be maintained in order so that the reader can understand the topic very easily and clearly. Next is the coherence. It is the quality that makes your writing understandable. Sentences within a paragraph need to connect to each other and work together as a whole. One of the best ways to achieve coherence is to use transition word or phrases. Some of the example, for instance, are for example because. Next, we are having the conclude. After illustrating the point with relevant information, we have to add a concluding sentence. The concluding sentences link the whole paragraph, summarizes in two or three sentences the validity of the topic. And the last one, we are having the completeness. Completeness means a paragraph is well developed if all sentences clearly and sufficiently support the main idea, then your paragraph is complete. So next we are having the article writing. It is the process of creating a non-fiction text about current or recent news, items of general interest or some specific topics. So I hope that you understand these all the points. So thanks for watching it.